Hey everybody, it's Christy from Christy's Beautiful Life here for Quilters Vibe, and this is the fun quilt inspiration we are working with. Daisy chose it for this month, and I'm going to go ahead and pull out these cool little 2x2 and 1x1 squares from Paige Evans. So they're in most of the 6x6 paper pads, and if they're not in that, they are definitely in her paper collections. And I just thought to myself that this would be the perfect opportunity to get them used, because I'm not exactly sure how I would have used the smaller ones in another form. And I'm just looking through because I thought for sure I had them in all of the collections, but I don't. I only had it in one, so that's the one I'm going to go ahead and use. Totally fine with me, but you are going to see me just quickly kind of flip through them. So I'm going to go ahead, use my trimmer, get them trimmed out, and kind of section them off by color, because I am going to try to follow this inspiration with the color idea of having blocked colors. I don't really follow it in the way that you see it. I guess I do a little actually. It's just kind of reversed from the way you see it, because the pink is in the upper right and the green is in the bottom left, and then it kind of goes in the color wheel circle that way. So I have two photos I'm thinking about working with. I'm pretty sure I'm going to use this cute photo of my daughter. It was her head's chopped off and all of that, but she's just so happy and super adorable, and I just really love it. So I'm kind of having a little play here, deciding how it's going to work. I was thinking that I was going to make them all touch and be the blocks like that. I am trying to line them up so that little pop of yellow in one of those will go ahead and line up with the yellow in the other, and vice versa with the little bit of purple that's in the other floral. And that's how I was able to decide what color tones I wanted to use. I only had like 4 pieces of yellow, so the yellow and orange kind of get blocked together in the lower right hand, and then that blue purpley color is in the top left, and that is basically the color of how it goes. But as I'm looking closer to the inspiration versus my layout, I noticed there's little kind of like squares off to the sides and stuff, and I wanted to be able to replicate that. And so I'm going to go ahead and push a few away, looking at this thinking it needs more something. So I'm going to go ahead and add some gesso, and I start to do some mixed media where I do the same colors on, like I drew a line right down the middle so I could block the colors. And I do not like the way it turned out. It's okay. The purple's way too dark. And then laying everything back on again, it just wasn't my cup of tea. So I do start it and have a little play to see what I can do. I love the way the pink and the orangey reddy color turns out. That one was great, but the purple wasn't. So I'm going to go ahead and redo this whole idea of making the blocks. And this time I'm going to separate it out a whole lot more and just play. And that was the fun part about this, is I had no rhyme or reason to what I was doing other than the fact that I just wanted it to look appealing to my eye. That was the only thing it had to do, was look good to me. It didn't need to match with anything else. I didn't care if things were touching versus not, and how many pieces were to the side versus not. So I just lay them out, and really I laid it out, liked it, and I left it. So I literally just picked up every single piece of pattern paper bit by bit and glued it down, just a little tab of glue. I was thinking I would go ahead and like stitch down the rows, but I don't actually have even rows, so I decided not to do that. Instead, however, I went into my embroidery thread and I had the right colors to stitch the outline of the layout in the block of colors. So I love the way this turns out. I think it's really, really neat. It definitely helps emphasize the idea of what I was trying to showcase. And I just go ahead and do that. It took me, I don't know, an afternoon to do that stitching. And then I come back and decide how I'm going to embellish this now, because this is the basis of my layout. I don't have a ton of other ideas on what to do. I'm assuming I need to back my photo with something. Nothing is really catching my eye. However, in the end, I use some tissue paper, which really helps just give that little something. And I like the way that turned out. And then I'm thinking, for a title, what on earth am I going to use? This isn't really like a super special photo or anything. It's just her being absolutely adorable, and she was having a really good day. So I decide to go into my Pinterest account where I have a board called titles, and I just scroll through there. When I'm struggling with what I want to use as a title for my layouts, I scroll through and see if anything catches my eye. And I did see something that said busy being happy. Well, that's exactly what she's doing. She was sitting up. This was when we were in the basement suite, and there's a little ledge that you could go from the couch to this ledge, and it was like for the little ones, Jackson and Nora, they could sit there. And she was sitting there playing with her tea set before, and then she hopped down and was laughing because she thought it was fun. And that's all it's about. So that was the perfect title for me. So I'm going to go ahead and I handwrite out my title twice. I do it in the purpley blue sections and then in the teal green section. And I go back in with the exact same thread that I had for my border outline, and I go ahead and stitch my title in the blue and the green. That looks really neat. I love the way that looks. And to finish it all off, I just kind of pop in with a few little embellishments in the colors, so tone on tone embellishments to each of the colors. That was really fun too. It's not something I do very often. I'm not really a rainbow type scrapbooker. I love the way it looks. I wish I did it more, and maybe I should attempt to do it more because I really do like the way that it looks, but it's not something I normally do. So to put tone on tone elements is not something you see from me very often. And this page is, even for me, is quite busy, but I really like it. My photo still stands out. You see it because I think it's because it's right in the middle of the page, so there's no way you can miss it. But it's just, I don't know what to say. I just love this layout. It's pretty self-explanatory. It was a very easy one, but it was a long process because of all the little bits and pieces I had to do. And the other thing I wanted to do is, even though the mixed media did not work out for me, I did want to add in those colors. So instead of doing, like the packaging technique or anything, I'm just going to go ahead and take my colors that you see off to the side, and I'm gonna just splatter in those sections. And that worked. That made me so much happier because it's just a little bit, nothing crazy, but enough that I'm getting my little bit of mess on. And it just, that's exactly what I needed. And then to emphasize on the photo just a tad bit, I don't do a lot, it's just a little bit. I tuck in a couple pieces of chipboard from one of the Paige Evans chipboard stickers, and it just creates a little border, and pop everything up on some fun foam, and that about does it. So this layout it wasn't quick, but it was easy. I think it really does kind of represent the idea of the inspiration quilt that we are using for this month. Please make sure you hop on over and check out Daisie and Sara's take. I cannot wait to see what they do. This one is a little outside of Sara's comfort zone, so I'm super excited to see what happens. And it is right up Daisie's alley, so I know she'll create something amazing. I hope you enjoy this series. Remember, we post on the last Thursday of the month, and next month is my choice for this the quilt, and I have one picked out that I'm excited to play with. And that about does it. You're gonna see me pop it up on the fun foam. You can see the little bits of embellishments that I had added already to the page. Like I said, I had a few more, which you'll see in the finished layout, but not much. I'm thinking I'll put my journaling down at that bottom right hand corner. There's a look at the finished layout. Thanks for watching. Bye.